People like you, organizations like Rampcheck, I love you guys.
4, 5, 6, gotta be down, ready now.
You are clear for takeoff, runway 21 left, winds are calm. Stand by for the retrans on uniform. It's showtime.
Hey everybody, it's another edition of the Rampcheck podcast. I'm Tony.
I'm Aaron.
Good evening. I'm Ryan.
And it just so happens to be evening while we're recording. So
right. Yay.
Great job there, little brother.
Not morning or afternoon. I said it right.
That's right.
You certainly did. So on today's edition of the Rampcheck podcast, we've got just a few news stories we want to chat about really quick. In fact, we can kind of do a quick rundown, or what in the industry they'd call a teaser.
What's
just
a
about
rundown? Just kidding.
In the industry, they call
office.
it a teaser.
Yeah.
A couple of a couple more military aircraft lost this week for the United States. We've got some aircraft retirements in the works as airlines actually start pulling some of their aircraft out of the boneyards and putting them into service, which is a great sign. If you want to get drunk on an airplane,
better pick the right airline.
yeah.
You're going to have to do it beforehand in the terminal, apparently.
That ain't going to happen, at least for a while, because of the world we live in right now. the new normal.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I don't
anyway.
think so. Yeah.
So just a few of the things we're going to talk about today on the Rampcheck podcast. And you may have seen earlier this week on our Instagram page, if you're one of our 8,000... Are we over 8,600 followers now, brother?
Something like that. We're getting close to 9.
So if you're one of our
I guess I can
8,500 followers... you may have seen this already, but we posted a little teaser video that included some music that you might be familiar with if you are a listener of the Rampcheck podcast, which if you're not, I don't know how the hell you're hearing this, but you should be anyway.
8,586.
Wow.
I don't know why I didn't just say 8,586, but we're almost there. Sorry.
We're getting
Continue.
up there. We appreciate all the followers.
Oh, man, we do. And hashtag push to 10K.
Yes.
Yes, we would love to hit that benchmark. We couldn't do it without you guys. In fact, we haven't done it without you guys.
Right.
But bring your friends. Want to thank everybody for helping us spread the word. But that little teaser video you saw had a little icon at the end of it, and it said "coming soon." So very soon. We have been working our asses off to get our YouTube channel launched, and we are super close.
That's right. We're going to bless them with being able to watch us do this, right?
Yes, just like
and we're still working those kinks out.
Yeah, and we're still kind of on a budget, so I'm going to walk over here to the camera that we're recording. Hi, thanks for listening, or I mean, watching. But and you can see here, you know, our gear isn't the best yet, but we've what are we, episode 54
I think
right
this
now?
will be 54.
This will be 54. So okay.
We have the window open in the Rampcheck Studios.
The Rampcheck Studios proudly coming to you from London.
I know.
Wow, is that...
Yeah,
it's a fire
it's the
truck.
whole fire brigade going out.
Shit, they found us.
Brigade.
The fire
What decade
brigade.
is this?
Brigade. With a little windy siren.
That's funny.
I tried to do it, but
man.
my voice
I know.
wasn't having it.
Oh, God.
Anyway, yeah, like Tony was saying, we're working on our YouTube channel, which is which will be fun. You know, we'll post videos from places we visit.
Right.
A lot of our future podcast episodes we're actually, you know, planning on, you know, doing a video of as well.
Exactly.
So you can do that. The ones that we don't have video, we're still going to post them on the
Right.
on
So
the
if you
YouTube
prefer
channel.
YouTube,
Yeah,
you know,
you can listen through that too.
exactly. So we're
So that's the goal.
we're working through that right now. The channel is actually there.
Right.
If you want to go to it right now, it's Rampcheck Global on YouTube.
Yep.
We have one video up at the moment, but that will expand pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
But that one video is a pretty fucking cool video. If you haven't seen it yet, if you didn't see it on our Instagram, look at it on our YouTube page. So our friend of the podcast, Major J. Fast Derfler, who has been a guest on the podcast a few times, had an opportunity when he was in pilot training to go up in a T-38 and fly in formation with an F-117 Nighthawk.
Yep.
And
they were retired.
Before they were retired.
2007.
And he was able to shoot some video. He shared some of that with us so we could put it up and you guys could see it. It's pretty cool video. So if you haven't looked at it yet, go ahead.
It's really cool.
And go to our YouTube channel, watch the video, and then there's 3 things that you need to do. You need to click the like button. You need to subscribe.
Yes.
And then you need to ring the little bell so you get notified when there's new content.
Let me correct myself with the F-117 is when it was retired from active duty.
Right.
Because we know that there are F-117s still flying to this day.
Oh, yeah. The most recent spotting, the most recent one was spotted just a few weeks ago, right? Wasn't it OWIS that?
OWIS, and there was a few others out there in the desert. But apparently they landed in what was it? What base was it? China Lake, I think.
I think it was China Lake.
Yeah, which is really cool. So that definitely shows that they're kind of expanding the footprint a little bit.
Right.
From where they're, basing them or where they're all mothballed right now.
Who knows where the hell they all are.
How many of them are flying,
And speaking of that, we have 10 subscribers as of right now.
Oh, sweet.
To YouTube?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was the 10th.
Actually, I was going to say we have 7 subscribers because I think we were the first 3.
I was the 10th. Hey, that's okay. That's better than nothing. So that's awesome.
What the hell took you so long?
I don't know. I just realized we had a YouTube channel, okay?
Did you not get the memo?
Yeah.
But anyway, so go to our YouTube channel right now, and if you do subscribe and click the notification bell.
Not if you do, when you do.
When you do, excuse me, and click that notification bell, then once we start getting more content, you will be the first to know.
Yes.
So,
cool. Awesome.
And then something else I want to bring up really quick before we get into the meat of the podcast. I said that again, didn't I? Shut up.
Tony's apparently into the meat talk.
So in addition to launching YouTube, we are also going to launch a Patreon page. Mm-hmm. And there are a couple of reasons why we want to do the Patreon page. First off, it does give us an opportunity to connect even more with our listeners and our members. But I don't know if you're watching this version of the podcast today on our YouTube channel, you can see that we've got pretty basic equipment, and so we've invested some money into some things. It took us all the way to episode 54.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's going to continue, but we want to be able to invest in some better equipment. I would love to call the Rampcheck office our official Rampcheck studio. Mm-hmm. I know we're looking to get a camera and some.
Well, give us more opportunities to bring more content as well.
Exactly.
Like we can go out there and get more content because travel ain't cheap.
No, and we want to be out there, and when it's socially acceptable, for Christ's sakes, we want to interact more with you guys as well. We want to be at all the red flags. We want to go to all the air shows. Oh, wait. When they happen again.
Well, when that's socially acceptable.
But anyway, so that's also coming soon. Look for that to happen within the next several days after you listen to this podcast. We're not asking a lot. We're basically there's going to be a level where if you just want to support us with a small contribution every month. You call it a contribution or a subscription, whatever you want to call it. And then there will be some different levels, and there will be some incentives to bribe you to pay for those higher levels. But the main goal of this, first and foremost, is you're going to get the same content whether you subscribe or not. I want to make that perfectly clear.
Yeah, we're not going to make this. You have to pay to experience the Rampcheck Global world.
Exactly.
No, that's never what we wanted to do in the beginning anyway, so that would just be silly.
Yeah. And we'll talk about it more once everything's set up, and we'll talk about different tiers and those things. But, you know, we love all of our listeners and followers, and go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, you know, before we started doing this, there was a handful of podcasts I would listen to from time to time, and I remember, like, listening for a while, and then they would come out and say, oh, or subscribe to Patreon. And usually a first reaction is like, well, damn it, I'm going to have to pay to get the content. And that's not the direction we're going, so I just want to make sure. I'm glad you brought that up. Like, we're going to continue doing this anyway, and we're not going to ever withhold any content that we do. You know, we're just looking for some support so we can actually do what we're doing better and improve it. So
and do it more.
Yeah, and more, exactly. And I just wanted to throw that out there because I don't want anyone hearing this and going and thinking in that direction. So
oh shit, he said the P word.
Yeah. And I definitely think that, you know, the Patreon and also when we sell our ramp swag, I mean, that goes to support what we're doing.
Oh yeah, we're not on a beach with margaritas from that. Trust me.
Not yet.
And we're you know, basically it's, I think more is the word. I mean, it's each one of these platforms that you know we like to be a part of. It's all about bringing more content. You know, we gain more knowledge. We figured, you know, how to do something better, and just obviously the monetary support on the things that we offer, and soon the Patreon. It's all just to make a better experience for the listener and our followers.
And to deliver more content.
Yeah, exactly.
Because committing to a YouTube channel is a big commitment.
Yeah, it is.
With time. And, you know, I mean, let's face it. We all have families. We all have jobs. Well, we have another business that essentially, you know, pays our bills. But with Rampcheck, you know, it does cost money to go out and, you know, go to red flags and
I think they get
travel.
the
I do. I don't want to.
We don't need to, like, you know, sit here and apologize and everything.
No,
because
we're
it's
not apologizing for anything.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you have to pay for, you know, everything that we just talked about.
Equipment, travel expenses,
everything. So and we're fully committed to Rampcheck and the podcast and the Instagram and our traveling and our content.
The YouTube channel.
It's gonna be fun.
And this, you know, it's funny, Aaron. You and I were talking earlier on the phone, and I brought up the point. It's just like, wow, you know, look at where we were 2 years ago.
I know.
You know,
I know.
2 years ago, it's like, hey, let's start a podcast. Okay, it's the Rampcheck podcast. Yay! We've gone from how many Instagram followers did we have at that time?
A couple hundred, maybe.
Couple hundred, maybe.
A few,
So we're up to almost 8,600 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And like we talked about last week, last podcast, about a month ago now, or maybe 3 weeks or so, I got an email saying that we were ranked at number 59.
Yeah, we were moving up
in the technology podcasts for Apple Podcasts. And I mean, 2 years seems like a long time, but shit, it seems like yesterday when we sat down at my house and recorded the first episode of the podcast. So anyway,
we've come a long way. Yes.
Thank you guys for getting us to where we're at, and we just want to continue growing. You know, we
want to move to phase 3 and reopening. Basically, right?
Yeah. Well, we never shut down. But anyway, thank you again.
Current event joke. Sorry.
So, I know, right? Speaking of current events,
see, segue.
Geez, I know, right? What do we want to talk about first? Do we want to get kind of the sad and somber news out of the way first, and then?
Yeah, let's give our condolences. Let's do that.
Aaron, I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Yeah, definitely. So, unfortunately, over this past week, we lost a United States Air Force airman, First Lieutenant Kenneth KAGE Allen, and he was actually from Utah, so, you know, kind of touched us a little bit more than, you know, the normal when we lose somebody in our military, just because, you know, he's a local guy. Yeah, First Lieutenant, I mean, just barely starting his career.
I mean, you look at his pictures, and this is not out of any disrespect to him itself. He looks like he's 14.
Yeah, he's
does.
young.
He looks
He
young.
looks
so young.
But
And,
yeah, but really sad. He flew F-15C Eagle, which is a badass 104 to nothing kill ratio.
Yep.
So he was flying over at Lincoln Heath with the 48th Fighter Wing, and unfortunately his aircraft crashed into the North Sea. There's no further details whether, you know, he ejected, whether he died of exposure, whether, you know, I mean, the Air Force, until they really have a good handle on what they think is going to, you know, happened, they're not really going to release those details. All we know is that we lost First Lieutenant Allen, and his call sign was KAGE, and lost an F-15C, which, you know, that alone is devastating to the Air Force, because, you know, we're not making F-15Cs anymore, or E's, or any model. There is the F-15, you know, the EX that's supposed to be coming out within the next couple years, but that's going to be a dual seat, a lot like the F-15E. But I'm just going to read a little excerpt here from there's a Facebook page called Follow the Flag North Ogden, and it's a local Facebook, kind of like a patriotic Facebook page. But it says, our deepest condolences go out to the family and friends of First Lieutenant Kenneth KAGE Allen. He's a member of the 48th Fighter Wing stationed at RAF in Lakenheath, Suffolk, England, and was involved in a crash in an F-15C Eagle in the North Sea during a training exercise and did not survive. As a nation and as a community, we are strong, and we lift those we have lost. We will lift and support the family of First Lieutenant Allen. We are grateful for his service, dreams, and sacrifice, and now stand with his family as they honor their beloved Kenneth. Kenneth grew up in northern Utah, and we will see that he receives true heroes welcome upon his return. And that was actually posted with the approval of the Allen family. And feel bad for his family, his wife. I guess he just got married this past February. Yeah, our hearts really go out to them. And yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, and Godspeed, KAGE. Thank you for your service. Thank you for making the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to let anything like this hits home, obviously.
Yeah.
But then, so while you're reading the story, I pull up the Fallen Wings Foundation website, and it says for KAGE right there, and it's kind of emotional looking at it, and it is. I feel bad, and I'm saddened by this. And this is not to give us a pat on the back or anything, but we as Rampcheck Global did make a donation to the Fallen Wings Foundation. If you go to fallenwingsfoundation.org, that's Fallen, not Falling.
Yeah, Fallen.
So FALLEN, wingsfoundation.org. You can make a donation to support KAGE's legacy, and we suggest you do it.
Yeah,
definitely.
and the Fallen Wings Foundation too was highly recommended by a combat Learjet, by Steve. So I was having a conversation with him after this had happened, and he was, you know, he mentioned that as soon as the Fallen Wings Foundation, you know, set up for KAGE, that he was going to post something, and we posted something. And the cool thing about the Fallen Wings Foundation is They're an all-volunteer nonprofit dedicated to gathering support and awareness for United States Air Force aerial mishap crew. So, you know, they really take care of the families. You know, I mean, it's hard enough surviving in this world without one of your loved ones or friends or spouse, you know, passing away. And it helps people out financially. I'm sure there's all kinds of support as well, you know, for, you know, emotional and, you know, mental support. But yeah, give fallenwingsfoundation.org. Check them out. Yeah.
Well, and since Lieutenant Allen was from Utah, lots of casseroles and lots of Jell-O to the family.
Yes, please.
It's just a Utah tradition.
Yeah, it's a Utah/Mormon tradition joke.
exactly. So,
but anyway, so yeah, so that was rough. You know, there's been a spat of accidents, you know, around the world this year.
Lord, right?
And you know, it's you know, fortunately, some of the recent ones, like the nose gear failing, you know, on an F-35 up at Hill Air Force Base last week. The pilot walked away from that just fine.
The fire crew up in Alaska that crashed into the river.
Yep,
they survived. And
what about was it a Hornet? Is that an F-18? What?
Yeah.
It was the most recent.
That's right. That was another one that we were going to talk about off of the Theodore Roosevelt. Super Hornet.
There it is.
Yeah.
Is that the one you have up?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
An F model Super Hornet crashed into the Philippine Sea, but luckily they both ejected and they're both safe. They were both rescued, and
so a much less tragic ending.
The only loss there is of the Super Hornet, which is always sad. We hate to see our beloved aircraft go into the drink.
Oh, I know. But I see a possible replacement for that one, maybe. Another story on the Rampcheck Report. .com is Boeing has flown its first Block 3 production of the F-18 Super Hornet fighter. That's been on there for a little while, but if you haven't seen it yet, the June 4th flight was aircraft build F-287, so Fox 287.
FN 287. Sorry, that's the first thing that jumped into my head.
I'm not calling you that.
That's hilarious.
Finn.
Anyway. But it's the first of 2 Block 3 aircraft that will be delivered to the Naval Air Warfare Center at Pax River in Maryland for test and verification. So anyway, that's kind of cool.
And the cool thing about the Block 3 Super Hornet is the cockpit. It has a huge touchscreen display, a lot like the F-35. So, and the new F-15EX is
and
also
the Crew Dragon.
Yeah, the F-15EX is also going to be the same, where it's going to have a huge touchscreen display, a lot like the F-35. So,
dude, that is so damn cool.
You know, I'm sure it's going to be a whole new experience for you know, Super Hornet drivers.
Absolutely.
So that's cool, and you know, uprated engines, and they've also done testing with conformal fuel tanks, which if you haven't seen photos of the Super Hornet with the conformal fuel tanks, it's actually pretty badass looking.
I may have to look that up while we're talking.
So why don't you explain, when you think of when you say conformal fuel tanks, I think of hey, get back in line.
That's right.
And then they kind of somehow get back in line.
Yeah, they're really good about doing what
they're just doing what they're being told. Well, they are for military fighters, so that's a good
exactly.
No, seriously, what? So the conformal tanks. What?
So conformal tanks. So on some, I would say probably the most well-known military jet that widely use conformal tanks. Well, there'd be 2. The F-16 Viper. You see a lot of like foreign countries actually have, and it basically just looks like you know, a streamline. Bulge on. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
There's a photo that Ryan's looking at. He actually pulled up online, but basically it kind of the tank looks like it's built as part of the aircraft.
I see.
And it's just an add-on.
Okay.
So that's a conformal tank. The other aircraft is the F-15E. If you look on the outside of the air intakes on the F-15E, it has the little conformal fuel tank bulge.
Okay,
And those are actually removable.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, so it's crazy. But just so the aircraft can hold more fuel, so the combat radius is extended. Yeah,
Oh, wow,
the soup. Yeah, can you see? We're looking at an F-15E photo right now, but yeah,
the
that's
bulge,
a conformal tank
and
right
then
there.
there's a head-on view
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, there they are, right there.
Oh, that's
and on
cool.
the F-15E, the conformal tanks actually have hard points, and so
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Okay.
when you take those off, you actually lose some of the weapon carrying capacity on
Gotcha.
the F-15E. But yeah, so there's a quick little conformal
Okay.
fuel tank.
Awesome. And in other military jet news, and for those of you that are fans of Ghost, down in at Nellis Air Force Base, part of the is it the 64th Aggressor
64th
Squadron?
Aggressors, that's right.
There's going to be another one.
Yes.
If
Well,
you
there is.
well, there
already.
is another one. Yes.
So is it the same paint scheme like as the first Ghost?
I'd love to see them
It
side
looks,
by side.
yeah, I haven't compared them side by side,
but it looks
but
very
it looks
similar.
Pretty
like
similar.
almost identical. Yeah.
Right? Pretty similar. So this also you may have already seen on Rampcheck Report, but some of the really cool stuff about this, or just a really cool fact. Number one, that there's going to be another Ghost out there.
Yeah, I love
is-
the paint jobs
it's
that
so
that
badass.
64th Aggressors are
and
doing.
and a lot of av geeks and aviation photographers. Ghost is on their list. Their bucket list to see. So now you've got twice the chances of seeing it. So but the new livery was actually applied at Hill Air Force Base in Utah by the 576 Aircraft Maintenance Squadron.
Which I'm so pissed that we didn't know.
right?
being
We had
done,
no
'cause
idea.
it
We
wasn't-
could have went up there.
Yeah, we
huh?
could have
Yep.
saw it depart.
Oh no, we wouldn't have seen it. I'm sorry.
It's not the stealth paint.
It's
Oh,
the ghost.
it's
It's the
the
ghost.
Ghost. All right.
Well, if we wouldn't have seen it, we would have heard it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
I know, but yeah, it's badass. F-15C serial number 860299er. So when you down at Nellis spotting and you catch Ghost, you can see which one is which.
So
Well-
Ghost's little brother,
And
little
when
sister?
we were interviewing, was it
Novotny?
General Novotny?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how he said, like, we've got some other from the Aggressor Squadron, we got some other paint
Yeah.
jobs coming. I
Yep.
bet you
Right.
he knew they were gonna do
Oh
another
yeah,
Ghost.
I'm sure.
Oh,
he did.
yeah.
So he's following through with what he said, and I think
And-
that's awesome.
And how about the Venom paint job? Oh my God, that is
The,
so cool.
The Viper demo team.
I think
their F-16.
Oh,
Wraith
yeah.
was one of my favorites, but when I saw the Viper or the Venom
yeah.
paint job, now that's not part of the Aggressor Squadron at Hill. I mean
Sure.
at Nellis, but anyway.
You
so
know, what's funny, I have to tell this quick little story about Venom.
uh-huh.
I was talking to Pig the other day.
Okay.
And
Big.
it was so funny. We were
God,
talking.
we need to get him on the
I know,
podcast again.
He's so funny. It was so funny. He said that he was talking, to one of his friends that apparently, still on base at Shaw.
Uh-huh.
Because Pig was based at Shaw
Right,
for a while.
right.
And he was asking him
Shaw.
about the Viper demo team new paint, the Venom.
Uh-huh.
And the guy made fun of it. He said it looked like a hooker in fishnet.
When I'm
So,
looking at it, I
it's
see
kinda-
why he said
Yeah.
It's
that.
kind of
you
funny.
know?
It
That's-
was so,
So,
funny. I laughed so
You
hard.
know
Pig
that
told me that.
whenever Venom flies, that his unofficial call sign is Hooker. It's
might
gotta
be.
be. It's gotta be.
That's
I don't
awesome.
know. But anyway, that
Yeah.
was
It is
funny.
pretty
man.
That's
cool looking.
hilarious.
Pig's
though.
always got good stories.
Yeah.
Pig was on the podcast a few episodes ago.
Acrojet. is also known
Acrojet.
as.
That's his Instagram is
Yes.
Acrojet. So
Yeah.
follow him on Instagram as well. The name of the podcast episode is actually When Pigs Fly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you
just-
want to be entertained for 2 hours?
Yeah,
Check that
just
one out.
sit down, crack a beer, and you can learn about everything
Yeah.
from belly landings to greasy beer farts.
What did he say? There was like
And
some
Sonic
messaging
booming
going on
Iraqis.
Oh my
through
god, that story.
What's that?
our Instagram, and what did he say when he was saying this is that French squadron I was talking about?
Oh yeah, the Mirages.
But he said it in a funny way, and I can't remember, and I wish I
Oh
would
man,
remember.
he
But
was talking about when the French pilots were calling in.
yeah, I think he
Right.
said.
You know,
I think he
This
sent
is
us.
what we do.
I think
Oh,
he sent
so
us
funny.
the pictures, and he was like,
Uh-huh.
"These were those French assholes I was talking about," or something like that.
Oh
I
my
don't know
God.
for sure, but
That story was hilarious too because he said that they were really cocky and
Yeah.
like when they were supposed to meet up for their exercise or whatever, they were already there so they could intimidate, and then they called out on the radio and like they're all like anyway, great story. Listen to it on the podcast.
Somebody turn on the Halloween witch freaking statue. What the hell is-
It's I don't know where the hell it is behind
Oh,
me.
that
Spit
was
out
a
my
good
Coke,
one.
eh?
That was a good one, eh?
You guys are assholes
Ugh.
again. So getting back to the second Ghost aircraft.
Yeah.
You were saying you haven't really compared them side by side. It might not be identical.
No, I haven't.
So the production flight chief with the 576 AMXS at Hill Air Force Base, she says, quote, the paint shop at Nellis did one of these planes last year and asked us to paint this one.
Beautiful.
They sent us pictures and gave us a pattern, but there were no instructions. We just put this together ourselves. So good job. It
Cool.
looks pretty
Well, they
badass.
did-
Yeah,
did
it
a-
does.
they did a great
It's
job.
Way cool looking.
Absolutely. Let's see what else we have here.
So I just wanted to
Oh,
mention too that since we're talking about Ghost and the 64th Aggressors based at Nellis Air Force Base, the supposed dates for Red Flag 20-3.
Ooh, breaking news on the Rampcheck
Well,
podcast.
I don't know. If these aren't confirmed, but it's supposed to be like starting the last week of July into like
Okay.
the first week or two of August.
So-
So it's supposed to happen somewhere towards the end of July, 1st of August, roughly.
Okay.
So
Which is typically when Dash 3 happens
Well,
yearly anyway, close to that, isn't it?
let's see. When was 19.3? So 19.3 was July 15 through August 2nd last
Okay.
year.
So,
So kind of, but
yep.
this year it was originally scheduled for June into the first week of July.
Oh, okay.
But they changed that, and so we think that there's only going to be about a month or so delay.
Fucking
in
COVID.
20-3. So yeah, I know. So let's hope that happens, man. I need some red flag.
We definitely need some red flag.
Yeah.
And hopefully, hey, maybe we'll have the brand new camcorder by then.
Yeah, maybe.
But
Maybe.
yeah, so once we hear that, of course, and get it confirmed, we'll obviously
Yeah.
post that.
Yeah.
For
So that'll
the
be
rest
good.
of you av geeks.
It'd be cool if both ghosts flew at the same time.
Absolutely. I wish there was a chance we could see the hooker in fishnet.
Right?
Yeah,
Well, we were supposed to see them at the end of this month at Hill.
that's right.
Because the Viper demo team
end of this
and
week,
the F-35A demo team were supposed to both fly at Hill, the air show, which they canceled because of COVID.
All right.
Jeez.
Say it one more time. Fucking COVID.
I know. Man.
Right?
No doubt.
Hey, and speaking of COVID,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this story's
So-
awesome. So now I can't fucking get drunk when I fly anymore?
right?
What was that all about?
Exactly. Okay. You don't really get drunk when you fly, do you?
You know, not usually.
Have
I
a
mean,
couple beverages.
there's been some times where I haven't eaten and then I have a couple drinks and I'm feeling it. But you know, I think alcohol actually helps a lot of people who are nervous to fly settle down, to be honest. But
Yeah.
not only
Right?
that, like I don't know. Go ahead and talk
Well,
about the
if
story. And
you
then
know,
we
if
can
your
get into it.
kids are acting up, just give them a shot of Jack. Before, oh no, I'm totally kidding.
Yeah.
Totally kidding. No, actually, it's Benadryl. But anyway, so this comes from, and this has come from a few different sources, obviously. But the source I'm reading from is the super reliable and aviation knowledgeable CNN. Where's that?
Yeah,
Which-
I mean,
So
should we even believe this story? Just
Well,
kidding.
I know.
Just kidding.
No doubt.
All right.
I know. Well, no, but the point
Kind
that I
of.
want to make about it is, first off, I'm just going to say it. CNN, you guys suck. But beyond that, instead of being a factual story, you can tell that they're putting their own spin on this. So, but
Well, and this info is directly from the airline,
Yeah.
so.
well, some of it,
But
yeah.
still, yeah, I know what you're gonna
Right.
say. Are you
Well,
gonna
It's
read
not
an
an
excerpt?
opinion piece,
Yes.
or what do they call it? An
Right, but
opinion
Editorial.
editorial.
yeah, but the thing is news from most media sources now, it either includes their opinion or whatever. So with face masks already mandatory on pretty much all flights around the world, I'm quoting directly from the article, and new legislation introduced in January of 2020 to curb antisocial behavior on flights, it's another in a line of barriers, literal and legal. I lost my place.
I know.
To getting high in the sky. High in the sky, get it?
That's so clever.
So,
Getting high in the
Well,
sky. What?
So you just
Who
read that.
has ever referenced alcohol with getting high? First of all,
Getting
okay.
high in the sky,
let's,
right.
I'm not going to get into the
I
CNN
know,
thing.
I know.
but
It's just,
my
so
God.
airlines, so far,
Yeah.
this is listed in the
yeah,
article,
read
and
read the airlines that are doing.
and this article was actually, let's
Probably
see,
out today.
June 16th
Oh,
is when they updated it.
okay,
So a
so
few
it's
more
been a
airlines have
few
jumped
days.
on board, obviously,
Sure.
or at least have announced. So in Europe, if you're flying EasyJet or KLM, no alcoholic beverages. In the United States, Delta and American. And then you said Alaska as well, correct?
No, Alaska is still serving.
Oh, Alaska
alcoholic
is still
beverages.
serving. Okay. So
Yeah,
Delta
we-
Airlines and American in the States, and then in Asia, Virgin Australia, are suspending all or part of their alcoholic drink service in response to COVID-19. So can we just pick apart the logic in this
Well,
quickly and then move on?
Well, isn't it interesting? Yes, let's do that. But the very next paragraph in this article says that they're going to limit drink options to water only. Well, okay. So you say you want to talk about the logic, right? Can't you?
Here we go.
The purpose of this shit is
Strap in.
is to limit the contact tracing that they say that the flight attendants will have with the people and the touching that. Won't the same fucking thing happen if it's water or if it's alcohol?
Yeah, it's the
Like,
same
it's the
thing.
same thing,
I
right?
just don't
So-
understand.
I haven't had a flight attendant like touch me or get within my little territorial bubble when they're handing me a soda or my peanuts
I know.
on an
I
airplane.
just said peanuts.
My nut.
Yeah,
Welcome to Hangar Talk, ladies and gentlemen.
I just don't get it. Like, there are a lot of things that we've talked about on this podcast that are, and you know our opinion on it, so we don't need to get into that part of it. But, you know, I think you made a comment, Aaron, on a social media post about this story. Like, you said something like, the point is to make people feel safer, and this is not making people feel
Right.
No, it's
safer.
making it worse.
I mean, like I said, and even the last podcast, it's like, you know, everybody posting pictures of everybody with masks on and gloves and all this. It looks like it's unsafe. And hey, I posted today on our Instagram story, like, we are rooting for you, airlines. But stop doing things that are just
Right.
going to piss off your customers. And I know the airlines are doing these things because they don't want to get sued. They don't want people to, you know, give them a bad rap because they think, you know, oh, I got COVID on my airplane flight or, you know, on my trip or whatever. But the thing is, I guarantee you there are more people in the, you know, quote unquote silent majority that do not want all these restrictions.
Right.
we all know the risks of flying. We all know that, hey, if you want to wear a mask, then wear one. If you don't want to wear one, then don't. And see, the thing that makes it ridiculous for me is that, like, you know, I have a 2-year-old son. He's not going to wear a mask. There's no, like, okay,
Right.
so his life is less important because he's younger and it's okay that he doesn't wear a mask. But yet, if you're an adult, you
Right.
are, you know, it's mandatory to wear one.
This brings
So,
up a good question, brother.
It's crazy.
So you're actually going on a 2-hour plus long flight.
Right.
I'm not going to name the airline.
Right.
I'm not going to say where and all
Right.
that stuff.
Oh, you are?
But
We'll
on
talk
the-
after the podcast. I didn't know you
It's
were
on the
going
it's
anywhere.
on the calendar.
Okay, all right.
so is this airline that you're flying on? Are you and your wife required to wear a mask,
Yep.
but your son is not?
Right.
Okay. So where,
Logic? Where is the logic?
Yeah.
again, where is it?
I
I
don't
just
see
think
it.
it's
I don't.
ridiculous.
I don't
It's
like.
You're on an airplane, the door's shut. They have the thing is about, you know, commercial aviation, and especially now since this has all happened and freaked so many people out. These aircraft are cleaned better than they ever have been.
Oh, yeah.
The the air scrubbers and the filters from the recycled air are probably cleaned 50 times more often than they ever were.
Well, and the scrubbers themselves are probably replaced a lot more often.
Exactly. And you know, it's just it's overkill, and the risks versus all this hassle are just not there. And I know there's, you know, some of you listening that are like, well, you're selfish because you're not going to wear a mask because somebody. Well, you know what? I just have to think that, you know, if you're in a high risk category, you know, you're 70 plus or, you know, whatever it is, even though that's high risk, the rate of death is still a lot less than what you would think. And the thing too about this is COVID doesn't really do a whole lot to people, you know, younger than that 70 age group. But I mean, flu kills people and
Right.
kills kids from schools every year.
Well,
And yet there's no freak out.
Right.
Like, it's okay.
Well,
you know,
this
send
just-
your kids to school no matter what. And then with this going around, it really gets me on board with that whole conspiracy theory shit about COVID.
it does.
Because none of it makes sense.
About obedience,
Yes.
fear, control, all that stuff. In fact, this statement says it right here. It's part of a widespread revision of the industry's food and drink service to minimize interaction between crew and passengers and ensure a safer journey for all. Minimize interaction between crew and passengers. I hate to say it, but that's part of the conspiracy theory that I think here is wearing masks, only talking to people with a plexiglass barrier.
Yeah, or 6 feet away.
It's minimizing interaction, and that
and it's already bad enough with social media the
my
way
God,
it is.
it's awful.
Can you imagine being, well, I was going to say single, but Tony,
asshole,
in this day and age, you're trying to date, for crying out loud?
dude?
Oh my God.
Dude, it was fun trying to date before COVID, and now
Yeah,
during COVID,
it's awful.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the thing.
forget
Like,
about it.
limit social interaction. Like, to me, like, whether I'm flying with my family or how many times do you guys fly and you strike up a conversation with someone and you meet some pretty nice, interesting people, and like, now this, I mean, who's gonna want to have a conversation when something's over your face? And you know, half the time when you're on a plane too, sometimes it's loud, and so like I rely on like reading lips sometimes to understand what people are saying, and like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's rough.
it is so hard because it's like you says, Aaron, like, well, you're just selfish. Just wear. Oh my God, like, I'm sorry to our listeners in the world out there. I just can't, and I just won't do it. I have from day one meaning when this became a thing and the shutdowns, I have literally worn a mask once, and it was when I got a haircut, because I was starting to look like a fucking bum and I needed a haircut. And no one would give me a haircut without, well, that's not true. I did get one from a family member, but I didn't want to keep bugging her. But, and I guess the point I'm making is like, I maybe was listening to the guidelines of like social distancing, and I haven't been trying to do anything in the opposite direction, but I still don't know anyone that has it. I still have not been involved with anyone that has it. And I'm sorry, I don't see the logic in needing everyone to wear one on an airplane. And it's like you said, it's about how it looks, and
it's the appearance.
It's the appearance, and I'm just and I don't know why I'm saying I'm sorry, because I shouldn't feel like I have to apologize, but I know there are people that are super on board with it. But the airline's now taking, like, we all knew that was coming, and it happened, the mandatory masks. You know, Aaron, that didn't mean you didn't buy your ticket to fly somewhere. You're still going to go do it, and people are still going to do that, and that's not the point. The point is now you can't have peanuts, now you can't have alcohol, now you can't have, like, I mean...
Hey, but there's no mention in here, there's no mention in this article at all about the Mile High Club. So not all is lost.
Well, I think you're losing the social distancing in that act.
Well, damn it! The next thing to go is they're probably going to remove bathroom doors so they can see what the hell you're doing in there. Or maybe make sure you wash your hands or something.
Or just remove the bathroom.
Right.
Good Lord,
They're just going to close
Sorry,
the lab.
gotta hold it.
Exactly. So I have one more question about this, and this is back to that same sentence to where it says, to ensure a safer journey for all. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we know there are statistics out there that you are more likely to die in an automobile crash than in an airplane crash. Mm-hmm. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct. That is correct.
So has there been any research done about if you are more likely to die from an airplane crash than from contracting COVID on an airplane?
Well, we already know the answer to that one.
Well, of course.
That's the thing.
I'm just saying, is there a legitimate study on that?
You have more of a risk of having something happen to you in your travels than you do either contracting or dying from COVID.
Right.
I mean, even if you did get it,
well, that's the other thing too.
And you know, there's supposedly some surges in cases and stuff. Well, let's look at the big picture. Okay, well, there's more testing than there ever has been.
Right.
So, of course, there's going to be more people diagnosed.
We're testing more than any country.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And secondly, like, you have to look at the hospitals, the hospitalizations.
Right.
Because most people that get this virus, they never know that they ever had it. Or if they do have it, it's just pretty mild symptoms.
Hospitalizations are up in some areas. But again,
not over capacity.
But no hospitals have been overwhelmed. Yeah. And one thing that I find that I'm really that's curious to me is, and we'll get back. We're kind of talking about aviation. Sorry, we got off on a little tangent. But so before all of the unrest and the rioting, everything in the media was about COVID, and not only the number of cases, but all the number of people that are dying.
And then I don't mean to distract you, but and then all the projections, based on absolutely no data at all,
right.
Because we didn't have any data.
Exactly, didn't have any data. So the projections for death were huge. They were
millions. Yeah, millions just in the U.S.
Right, exactly. So then the unrest happens. By the way, apparently you're a bad person if you're out just doing, normal stuff in the community, and, you're trying to get back to work and maybe go to the store.
Go to church. Go to the beach.
Right. And so, COVID can still kill you when you do all that. But apparently if you're out protesting and rioting, it can't kill you. You're immune to it.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
Guys, sorry for getting off on this tangent, but you know what? Do some research. Do some individual critical thinking. That's all I'm going to urge you to do. Anyway, but now that all this other stuff, now it's these huge surges in cases. But I'm not seeing any headlines about surges in deaths.
Yeah, I mean,
or fatalities from this.
There's still some deaths going on every day, but it's just like most things that cause human death is,
Right.
you know, it's there, and you want to mitigate as much. I mean, that's why, you know, we wear seatbelts and
Right.
you
Well-
know, stuff like that. But I don't know, man.
So when I was driving, because I actually drove up to Salt Lake City from St. George today before we recorded the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm driving, and there's the big highway signs that say 111 people have lost their lives on Utah roads.
I saw that today, and I
Yes.
saw exactly where you're going with this.
Right.
But go ahead.
And then there's a billboard for a rehab clinic, a local rehab clinic here, that says 234 lives lost in 2020 due to drug and alcohol abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 300 deaths right there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so we're near the end of June. There's 365 days in a year. So we're at about the halfway point.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when you look at those numbers, that's like 2 deaths a day just from that. We're not talking other illnesses like the flu. We're not talking cancer. We're not talking medical professionals.
There's so many other
There's
things.
so many other factors that kill so many more people.
Yeah, well,
And
yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, like you were saying, the drunk driving, like on the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration here in the U.S., one person every 50 minutes dies from a drunk driving related accident.
every 50 minutes.
Yeah, on average.
So I'm wondering if there's a metric in there that says how frequently people die from COVID-19.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, so far to date, we've lost over 100+
Right.
thousand people
Right.
over a couple months, and I mean that's a lot higher than what those drunk driving highway deaths are.
Right.
Because that's only like, I mean, it's sad, but
Right.
you know, 10,000 plus lives a year just off that. But see, the thing is you know, not everybody drinks, obviously. Not, you know, there's a lot of responsible people.
Exactly.
But
Well, and that goes to flying too. Not
I don't
everybody gets on an airplane and gets shit-faced.
yeah,
You know, and
Well, that's the thing. This article we're talking about, like, they're just. It's a percentage of their customers that drink the alcohol. It's not everybody.
Right.
So to me, like, if 100% of your customers drank alcohol, you know, and then you remove it, then you're removing all of that, right? But you're only having a percentage of your customers. So in other words, you should keep it because it's only a small percentage of your customers or whatever that are drinking the alcohol.
Well,
you're not eliminating
right. And
100% of the contact, you know.
and
what
on
I mean?
a lot of airlines, you can just order from your seat back. There's a touch screen
that
right there, or you can.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard that there's even like mobile ordering. You know,
Well, they're giving
becoming
you
available.
rubber gloves, for God's sakes.
Right,
So
and-
put on your rubber gloves
And you
grab
know
your
the flight
beer.
crew is wearing a mask, and they're going to be wearing rubber gloves when they're serving food and beverages. So
yeah.
it's just,
What airlines need right now is they need people to buy airline tickets
Mm-hmm.
and travel so they can up their capacities, and they need revenue. So it doesn't
Right.
make any sense at all to stop that revenue stream.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it was
Exactly.
interesting. I don't remember if it was this article or not, but there was an article. If it is this one, I apologize because I don't remember exactly. But they were talking about how after September 11th, when they were trying to get the travel industry back going and people traveling to feel safe, that all of a sudden airlines started charging $50 to $100 additional bags, and it's like, because that'll like help ensure safety again. Like, it was just some random thing they threw out there because, oh yeah, we lost money because September 11th. Well, that's what I feel like this is. It's like a knee-jerk reaction to something, you know, like, hey, we're back, now bend over.
Well, there is such a thing as a September 11th security fee.
Yeah.
That is charged. That's one of the taxes that's added to your airline ticket.
Yeah, it's called paying for your bags.
Right. Well, but
I know,
but
to
I'm
Ryan's
just saying.
point.
But that's what they call it.
But
It's-
I know what
it's
you mean.
named that.
Yeah.
And you
So
know,
our
these,
point is like, we just don't think this is the way.
Yeah.
well, and I think
It is
there's
not the way as Not the Mandalorian
This
would
is
say.
the way.
This is not the way.
Anyway.
Unless you fly Southwest Airlines and then bags fly free.
Right, exactly.
That's right.
Well, and that's the other thing too. Just to chime in on what you said, Ryan. So they limited what you could bring in your carry-on.
Yeah.
You know, you only could carry
Right.
liquids 3.5 ounces or whatever.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
total
Under 4 ounces.
had to fit in the the plastic bag and this and that. So you were forced to take a checked bag.
Yeah.
And so,
I know.
and then they're like, "Oh wait, so they have to check a bag now. Well, let's just charge them for it now."
I know.
And
Oh,
the unfortunate thing
it's
is all the
frustrating.
airlines followed suit,
Yeah.
and
Except for Southwest Airlines.
except for
where bags fly
Southwest,
free.
yes, and which
And
is,
I don't work for Southwest.
You
and-
sound
and
like
we're
you're
not
doing a
but
plug for them.
I
we're
used
not
to
affiliated.
exactly. So anyway,
Yeah, we got
it
off
kinda
on
sucks.
that again. It's hard not to
I
get
know.
upset
It
at
is.
COVID, you know.
Because
Well-
we love the industry so much.
and we-
all three of us have worked in it. You know, we all
we're
want it
s-
to succeed.
well,
we
yeah.
want them to get back. We want people to start traveling. But man, there's so many things that they kind of do. You know, it's like 2 steps forward and 1 step back.
Yep.
it really
I don't
is.
know.
It's just it's
Paula Abdul
frustrating.
song.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we definitely want we want to see all these aircraft come out of storage. We want to see all these people that work in the airline industry get back to work.
Yes.
And now there are people on both sides. There are people that want to wear masks on airplanes because it makes them feel safer. Great, do it.
Yeah,
for
do
it.
it.
If it makes you feel safer.
Doesn't-
There are people on our side of the fence that don't feel that it's necessary and feel that it's looks and
I
that
don't
it's
give-
extreme.
I don't give 2 shits
and-
if someone
right.
wants to wear a mask. I
You're-
don't care. Just don't force me to do
Exactly. If it makes you feel safe, then do it. We're not like minimalizing what you feel or what scares you or what
it.
doesn't.
No, we just don't think the
We
airlines
just-
should
yeah.
make
Just
mandatory.
don't
That's it.
just don't wear one of those masks that has the little what is it? The little exhale flap, because then you're totally defeating the purpose of wearing it.
Well,
Because
yeah.
isn't it about wearing it to protect other people? Well, if you're wearing a mask that has a flap that actually, like, when you exhale, like, exhausts your breath, it's totally ruining the point.
No, well,
Anyway, we
and
could
we
go
can-
on and on down that
Yeah.
road too, but we won't.
exactly.
Well, we
So
kind of already did.
right.
Well,
So-
any further, I
Okay.
guess.
All
Right.
right.
So again, a little bit more about the airline news. The Boeing 737 MAX is inching closer and closer to some key milestones to get it recertified. We've got something coming up here at the end of June. Aaron, do you want to kind of fill us in on that a little bit? Give us a quick update.
Yeah, so Boeing Company, and by the way, this is from Reuters. David,
Not Reuters.
Readers.
Yeah, Reuters. Exactly. David Shepardson and Eric Johnson. This is on their website. But Boeing Company is aiming to conduct a key certification test flight on its grounded 737 MAX jet in late June. So, you know, today is June 19th, so it's going to happen, I would imagine, any time.
Yeah.
2 people briefed on the matter said on Wednesday. The 737 MAX has been grounded since March 2019 after 2 fatal crashes killed 346 people. Boeing told airlines it hopes to conduct the flight test in late June, the sources said. Boeing did not comment on the certification flight timing, but said late Wednesday it had won approval from the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, for a service bulletin that details the modifications required for the 737 MAX wiring. So that was a separate issue that was
Right.
found when they were going through the 737 with a fine-tooth comb. Boeing has already begun modifying airplanes that have not yet been delivered and is coordinating modification efforts with airlines, the company says. New airplanes being built will include this update. In March, Reuters first reported Boeing would separate 737 MAX wiring bundles flagged by regulators as potentially dangerous before the jet returns to service. Boeing also said it had shared with airlines draft pilot training materials and related information to help operators facilitate and plan the development of their training programs. Reuters has previously reported that the FAA does not plan to clear Boeing for a resumption of 737 MAX flights until at least August. The sources warned the date could slip into July for the certification test flight, as the dates for many milestones for returning the plane to service have been repeatedly pushed back. The FAA said on Wednesday it was in regular contact with Boeing as the company continues to work on the 737 MAX. The aircraft will be cleared for return to passenger service only after the FAA is satisfied that all safety-related issues are addressed. So, and then the article goes on to talk about, the software updates. So there was the software updates, the MCAS system, the flight control system, and then while they were going through everything, like I said, the wiring issue, they found some wiring bundles that, the wires were too close together or whatever for certain systems, and they wanted those separated. And again, some of these things are just things that over the lifespan of a new aircraft are found out as they're in service. So that's another reason why once the 737 MAX is back, it is going to be the safest commercial airliner in history.
And the thing about the wiring issue that they found, if the 737 MAX had not been grounded and they were going through it like they were, this might have been something that may have never been discovered. Or it may have taken years to discover. Or, heaven forbid, it caused an issue serious enough to ground them in the future. So it's like you said, to reiterate your point, this is going to be the safest airplane in the skies. For sure. So
yeah, those other issues you're talking about, it kind of reminds me of when the corkscrews on the MD-80s.
The jack screws.
The jack screws that they had to inspect all of them because a few of them went bad or something. And
they weren't keeping up on the maintenance and
so you never know if these other things, down the road could have come out, but like you said, they probably wouldn't have, because it probably would have been safe anyway.
Probably would have been fine.
But they're going over it so
meticulously.
So it's like
absolutely.
It's like there's not going to be anything with this aircraft that. There's going to be a fly.
And the thing to remember too here is, and I'm not going to, pretend to be, an expert in, aerodynamics and certification and all those things, but in order for a commercial airliner to be certified, the 737 MAX had to prove that it could fly without MCAS system, without the MCAS system as well. So, it's not like it needed MCAS. It's not like, it's an inherently unstable aircraft. It's just in certain flight envelope, certain parts of the flight envelope, they needed the aircraft to feel more like the earlier generation 737s, so it wouldn't have to be, separate pilot certification. And those things. And that's why the MCAS was added.
Well, and we've talked to a couple of pilots here on the podcast.
Exactly.
Well,
and they're like, they said that the MCAS probably really isn't even necessary at all to have on there. But again, to
it's all about saving money for the airlines, and that's what's interesting about this whole MAX saga is it's almost just as much the airline's fault as it is Boeing's, in a sense, because the airlines are like pushing and poking Boeing like, hey, we need this, we don't want to have to send pilots training separately, so you need
we need it now.
And so I don't know. I mean, again, there's a whole multitude of factors on what happened with the MAX.
Well, and another key part of the certification too, obviously, is training procedures. So
it's just going to be nice when I feel like when we started this podcast, the MAX has just been through all of this, you know what I mean? So it'll be nice. It'll be nice when this thing gets back into service, because we've probably talked about it in almost every episode.
It's been
There's
over
always
a
an
year,
update.
a year and
Since
3
March
months
last year. Yeah.
So it'll be good to kind of
Yep.
get that chapter book closed.
Absolutely.
Which
and
it will.
speaking of Boeing, once again, and I'm kind of sad about this story. Delta Airlines announced that their last Boeing 777 flights are actually going to be in August, I believe. Is that what they said? The fall.
Wow.
Yeah,
Excuse me. So, yeah.
this fall.
Yep. So on May 14th, the carrier announced that it would retire all Boeing 777s this year. While a specific date wasn't announced at the time, the airline indicated they would be leaving in the second half of the year. Well, apparently that date has come. It's not a specific date yet, but the CEO of Delta, Ed Bastain, officially indicated that the 777 would not fly for Delta beyond fall of this year. So
That is sad. When was the 777 first put into service? Because to me, it doesn't feel like it's
late
been that
90s.
long.
Yeah.
Late 90s.
So it hasn't.
Well,
For an aircraft,
thi-
20 years isn't that long,
This
right?
isn't well, and these are newer 777s that Delta flies too. They're like
Yeah.
the 777
But see, that's what I'm
LRs, and-
saying. Like,
but it's because Delta is slowly becoming all Airbus.
yeah,
And so they bought a
So
bunch
that's
of
what it's
new.
more
Yeah, they
about,
bought a
okay.
bunch of new A350s.
right.
okay.
And this,
Um,
and to add to that, and this article, by the way, is available on Rampcheck Report. It's from simpleflying.com. But just to back up what you're saying about Delta is moving away from Boeing, which just doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. So they're also, of the different types that they're looking to retire or let go, the 717 fleet. Now the 717 is a unique aircraft. Originally McDonnell Douglas.
It's basically a smaller version of
right.
the MD-90.
Exactly.
Like DC-9, pretty much.
Pretty
to
much.
me,
Just
yeah.
like an updated DC-9.
Yeah.
Older 757s, 767-300s, etc. And like you said, the larger aircraft they're replacing with the A330 or the A350s. The smaller aircraft they'll likely be replacing with the A220s, which they're actually flying now.
Yeah, they have a bunch of them.
Right, they have a bunch, and
And
that's
they're-
the Airbus A220, which was originally the Bombardier C series.
Which is a nice looking airplane.
It is. It's a pretty
It's
sweet
sexy.
looking airplane.
And the cool thing about that, us Americans, we're all about, made in the USA. Well, Airbus is actually building A220s here in the US.
Right.
So that's
Huh,
cool.
interesting.
Yep. Well, they build A320s here
Yeah.
in the US as well. So,
Right.
and Delta flies a ton of A320s.
Well, don't
So-
these airlines, damn it, don't they base their decisions on the aircraft they fly off of what we like?
right?
I know.
Fuck.
Hey,
That's an
let's.
ugly airplane.
let's-
Can you
not
please
fly
keep
them.
flying the 777? Because I really like it.
What's that website? Petitions.com or something? Let's
Yeah.
just start a petition.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, there's obviously economic factors and age
Yeah,
factors
and I get
that
that,
go
and that's
into
why I said
it,
the joke. Like,
yeah.
obviously they have a lot of people running numbers and shit. Like, I get that, but to me, it just is sad
right.
because, like, I loved seeing them. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I loved working out at Salt Lake International and seeing. I can't remember what flight it was, but they had a 777. Was it the flight over to Japan, or I can't remember.
Well, they
Maybe
were
it was
flying
Amsterdam.
to
I don't remember,
Amsterdam
but
or Paris from Salt
from
Lake City
Salt Lake
nonstop for a while.
And you know
so
what?
I don't know what they're doing
I
now.
used to, and it's crazy. I can't remember which flight that was because I remember knowing what time every day I worked that flight would either depart or come in. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
And I would go park out on
Well-
the end of the taxiway and sit on my tug and
Yeah.
watch it come
Well,
in.
the one and only 777 that I've ever flown on was a Delta 777.
yeah.
So the one and only I've ever flown on was United, actually.
Yeah.
Well,
But
the one
this
I've
is
only ever flown on. No, wait, I didn't. Never got the chance.
this is gonna age me, but when I worked out at the airport,
You have done that yourself.
Man, we've had 3 Star Wars plugs in here. Maybe 4.
Anakin, you are my brother.
We had that one. We had the Mandalorian. We had... I did one earlier too.
Damn.
What one was it?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Anyway,
Sorry.
but when I was working out of the airport before you guys started, the aircraft that I knew when was going out every day was the L-1011
Oh,
to
hell
Honolulu.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
You know.
Well,
and-
I worked at Salt Lake,
Yeah.
and the L-1011 was just in
Yep.
the twilight of its career,
When
and
it-
I'd see that every day.
That's right. When Aaron and I used to work graveyards together, we'd go drive under the UPS DC-8 that used to come in because it
Wow.
would come in at what, like 5 a.m.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we'd take the vehicle out and
The
we'd
truck.
watch it on the tracker, and we would just time it just right and drive on that perimeter
Yeah.
road.
and the best part about that though, and this is like all you rampers and people that have worked the ramp and airlines, you'll totally understand this story, but we would take the truck and we would take turns where one of us would lay down in the bed of the truck,
Yeah.
and we would time it so that right as the aircraft was flying over you, the bed of the truck was like right there.
I wish we had camera
and
phones then.
no shit, man.
Because we
Right.
I
camera
mean,
phones weren't a thing yet, so we couldn't
that
take
was some,
pictures
that
or
was
video.
some of the coolest stuff that we did. Oh my gosh. And this is all pre 9/11.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right.
So I mean, like,
this was probably like 99, wasn't it?
oh
Or
yeah,
2000
yeah,
maybe.
yeah. And I mean, we'd go over to the aircraft parked at the gate. We'd go inside the aircraft,
Yeah.
go sit in the cockpit.
Go sit in the
I mean, we
cockpit.
weren't like screwing around with shit and
no.
doing
No,
unsafe
just-
things, but you know, we're av geeks, so
Right.
we're like, you know, I mean, I can't even count the amount of times that we'd go over and go sit in the TWA 727
Yeah.
at the gate
The
at 3 a.m.
Sun Country DC-10.
Yep.
We'd go drive around
Yep.
it. Like, yeah. I miss the L-1011 too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you said, Tony.
I miss those days. And
Yeah.
and it's funny that, you know, we were able to have all that kind of access. I remember that
Yeah.
too. And
Yeah.
just hanging out, you know, at the end of our ramp, you know, when I worked for Millionaire
Yep.
or wherever. And now, you know, a couple weeks ago, we were up at Hill Air Force Base, you know, up there for one of the rehearsals for the
One of the
for the
practice-
F-35
yeah,
demo
the
team.
demo practice.
And then Aaron and I, we went to Salt Lake International. We were going to do some plane spotting, and we weren't there 30 minutes. And some airport ops guy, oh, you guys can't be parked here. And it's just like,
it's
God,
like, why?
why?
It's like, put away the SAM missile, we're caught.
Oh my
God, I
gosh,
know,
it's
geez.
so ridiculous.
It's like you're taking fucking pictures.
Well,
It
you know,
is.
one thing that and you know, I respect all, you know, employees at the airport. I mean, they're
Absolutely.
just
Sure.
they're doing what they're
They're
told.
doing
but-
their jobs.
But see, the one thing that they need to understand is when there's aircraft spotters out there, we are probably the best eyes and ears for security for an airport.
Absolutely.
You know, outside of, you know, the airport police and, you know, airport operations, but they're usually stuck, you know, airport side,
Right.
you know, inside the gate and fence. So, you know, cut us a little bit of slack and
Right.
understand, like, build a relationship with aircraft spotters, because I'm telling you, they don't want something to happen where the aircraft aren't going to be there.
Right.
You know, they don't want, you know, lives to be lost and, you know, people hurt and aircraft damaged. And, you know, trust me, you go to a place that has aircraft spotters and somebody starts, like, screwing around or doing stupid shit, they're going to report it.
yeah.
They're going to, you know, have them stop. You know, they're going to tell them to stop, whatever. But, you know, really, like, airport police, airport operations, base operations, you know, I encourage you to get to know some of these spotters, because they are, like I said, some of the best eyes and ears for security and safety reasons.
And here's another thing too, is if you work for airport ops or airport police or whatever, you will definitely know the difference between an av geek and somebody who's up to no good.
Exactly.
There's a huge difference in
Exactly.
their appearance, in the way they handle themselves.
Yeah.
I should say in our appearance, in the way we handle ourselves. But anyway, it's just, yeah. I mean, It was annoying. He was nice about it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, he wasn't a jerk.
It was
but
just.
it's like,
Hopefully it wasn't my friend. Was he young or older?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't. Because I know who he is.
I know.
Okay,
I was
alright.
gonna drop your name, but I don't
And
know.
it wasn't an airfield ops guy. It was an
No.
airport like.
It was police.
It said no. It just said
No,
airport
it-
operations
it-
on the truck.
It was
but he
an
was
operations,
just like
but not
maybe
not,
a maintenance.
Not an.
type.
It was a maintenance operation.
Yeah,
truck,
so-
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Well.
but
Anyway.
Oh well.
yeah. So there we go. I think we covered everything we needed to cover today. We did it with a mild rant. I think we should congratulate ourselves.
Yeah, we're
I think we
On
should
that.
as well.
slowly,
Um,
hopefully getting over this.
Right. Don't forget, everybody, that the Rampcheck podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and I want to say SoundCloud because they were with us from the very beginning. But pretty much anywhere that you can get a podcast. Subscribe where you can. Also on Apple Podcasts, hey, keep giving us those 5-star ratings. And let's bump up even further in the standings with Apple Podcasts. We love having guests on the podcast, and we will definitely have more guests coming up here very soon for you. Don't forget to head over to YouTube and check out our one video on our brand new YouTube channel. But we will have podcast episodes and a lot more content. But hey, get out on the ground floor. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit that notification bell and like that one video that's on there. I guarantee it'll be worth your time. Aaron, you want to let everybody know where to reach you on social media?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention one more thing that we really didn't cover since we were talking about, aviation accidents.
Uh-huh.
I just want to bring attention to the 4 injured on that U.S. Air Force C-130 that overran the runway in Iraq.
Oh, yeah.
At Camp Taji on June 8th. Non-life-threatening injuries, though.
That's
but,
good.
4 of the crew members were injured. C-130, which is deployed to the 386th Air Expeditionary Wing at Ali Al Salam Air Base, Kuwait. Crashed around 10 p.m. Iraqi time. So, and that was at Camp Taji in Iraq. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that, just to be fair. We love our cargo aircraft and crew as well.
That's right.
So
You can't kick ass without cargo pallets. No, wait, it doesn't work, does it?
not quite.
Never mind.
Not quite.
Gas.
But
But also, so that reminds me too. I forgot to mention the Ramp Swag store. What the hell?
yeah, duh.
Ramp Swag. Hashtag RCG Ramp Swag. Get yours now. Rampcheckglobal.com. Lots of. I know we don't have as many new designs right now because of.
Yeah, this COVID stuff
Yeah.
again. Here we go.
And if you have ordered and you haven't received your order yet, it is coming. There's just some production and shipping delays going on at the moment. Hopefully those will be rectified soon.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know that I got some Ramp Swag. The brand new B-21 Raider T-shirt. And hey, Ryan, can we show it to the camera up there? Look at that.
Right there. It's mine.
Yeah, because it didn't fit me. I ordered the wrong size. But anyway, so you can get that design, lots of other stuff, stickers, hats, hoodies, swimwear.
Yeah, and just recently, we've actually been putting up our most popular photos
Oh, yeah.
as poster prints
Wow.
and
Nice.
canvas prints. So some of those are the actual photos themselves, and some of them have like kind of a cool like comic bookish filter to them, which kind of makes them unique.
Sweet.
So look for those items as well. They're 24 by 36 inch prints or posters. Same with the canvas. It's a stretch canvas, so it's ready to hang. But yeah, it's really
Hey, want to hang?
it's really cool. Ready to hang on your wall. So keep an eye out for those too. We got a lot of cool photos. Some of our most popular and most liked photos from Instagram we're actually offering as posters.
Sweet.
So yeah, so check that out as well. And like Tony said, we haven't had a lot of new designs lately, but but we are gonna start uploading some new designs, and
Yep.
you know, we always try to keep things, you know, updated and refreshed, and we do have some cool buy airline tickets like you bought toilet paper
Those are
shirts.
great.
So go check those out.
Yeah, those are actually pretty damn funny.
Yeah. So anyway,
And don't forget as well that pretty much everything we talked about today is available on our Aerospace and Aviation News website, Rampcheck Report. You can get to the Ramp Swag store and Rampcheck Report just by simply going to our website, rampcheckglobal.com. All right, Aaron, you ready to share your socials?
sure. So
Okay.
at Aaron Rumfollow is my personal. Basically, it's Instagram and Twitter, Facebook as well. But yeah, and anything and everything aviation related is pretty much on at Rampcheck Global. That's, you know, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, but Instagram is kind of our main little avenue. So, but yeah, thanks for listening. Ryan.
That's right.
At Follow Me is my personal Instagram, and just want to say thanks to everyone for supporting us, and that's it.
All right. What did I say earlier in the podcast? Hashtag push to 10K or something like that?
Yeah.
Yep. Almost 8,600 followers on our Instagram page. That's freaking awesome. Thank you very much, everybody, for that. Yeah, we're going to make that push to get to 10,000. So anybody you can share our Instagram, some of our incredible posts, you know, friends of friends, whatever. Let's do it. Let's get it to 10,000. At TRumFollow is where you can find my my social media, Instagram, Twitter. I'm on Facebook. But again, if you want the really cool shit, just go to Rampcheck Global. Yeah, I believe that's about it. And I'm thinking it's time for a send-off.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Good day.